She had a place in the pantheon of American history that was too little known.
One of the founders of the American Anti-Slavery Society, the guiding spirit behind the first Women's Rights Convention at Seneca Falls.
She was a radical.
She was a founder of Swarthmore College in 1864.
This woman who stood about 4'11", spent about 70 years shaking up the world.
She pitched her tent on a side of history that unfortunately hasn't been remembered by the majority of the public.
Lucretia Coffin was an island girl. She was born on Nantucket. Nantucket was predominantly Quaker around 1800. Her father went off to sea like the other seafaring men on the island. Women were basically running Nantucket Island.
Fox, the founder of Quakerism, felt that women could have the same direct experience with God that a man could, that all people were equal. When you grow up that way, it's just part of the way you see the world.
The Society of Friends had a commitment to women's education. Lucretia Mott herself is able to go to school and to teach in a Quaker school.
And there was a handsome, tall teacher named James Mott, whom she fell in love with when she was about 16 or 17.
It was a great marriage. She and James Mott were co-conspirators.
James Mott had the rare sense to see what an exceptional soul she was. Lucretia's gift was her voice. She always believed that she could transform people with the power of her own words.
She said what she believed to be true publicly. The speeches she gave, the sermons, she was her own platform.
That was the age of the spoken word, the live encounter. She was a woman that people came to hear. If she were living today, she would probably run for office. Back in her day, she couldn't even vote.
For Lucretia Mott to be an abolitionist meant real physical danger.
Philadelphia had a lot to lose if slavery was abolished. There was quite a Southern presence.
1838, the anti-slavery people in Philadelphia created Pennsylvania Hall for free speech, including anti-slavery. And it opened and lasted for about 3 days, and then the good citizens of Philadelphia burned it to the ground.
Take us to the Mott home. This group of mostly Southern sympathizers cried because they were furious at the abolitionists. If the mob had arrived, Lucretia Mott would not have stood down. She was not at all deterred by unruly violence. James and Lucretia Mott were among the delegates to the World Anti-Slavery Convention. Lucretia was distressed to understand that women delegates were not welcome. She understood the irony of this, and she spoke to it. She was Lucretia Mott of Philadelphia. She became the Lioness of London. So she came home more famous than she left. The 1840 Anti-Slavery Convention led to the first convention for women's rights in Seneca Falls, New York.
They weren't quite sure that they were ready to have a woman chair the meeting. So who do they pick? James Mott.
Frederick Douglass came to that convention, and he urged them to be even more determined and more militant and to demand a vote. The journey began with Lucretia Mott in 1848. finally came to fruition for votes for women by the 19th Amendment in 1920, Alice Paul took Lucretia's spirit and translated it into the early 20th century. She took the movement for votes for women outside, making a fuss, making a scene. Alice Paul went on to author the Equal Rights Amendment, and she named it the Lucretia Mott Amendment.
There's so many things that remind us of those similar struggles that exist today. She stood up consistently. She locked hands with women, with free people of color, and reminded folks that Philadelphia was the birthplace of freedom and democracy, and it needed to be extended to all people.
Quakers have an expression, let your lives speak. Lucretia Mott let her life speak. Our duty now is to let it continue to speak.